Federal agencies continue to find new ways to harness data using artificial intelligence and machine learning and cloud technology to deliver better mission outcomes. AI and ML allow agencies to analyze and process data more quickly than in the past. In turn, employees are able to gain valuable insights that help them serve their constituents. Some agencies, like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, have been using AI for years. But according to Dr. Jamese and Nancy Majower, significant changes in technology over the last several years have made it possible for them to take greater advantage of both structured and unstructured data.
The mission across NOAA actually ranges from the bottom of the ocean floor out to the sun. And so in order for us to provide guidance as well as monitoring of different environmental conditions, we collect data from satellite sources as well as radar and uncrewed systems and many other technologies. With this large amount of data, we look to artificial intelligence as a tool that will assist us to manage the data properly, as well as process it much faster, so that we are able to provide information in a timely manner to save lives and protect property.
Among the ways AI tools have advanced the work of agencies like NOAA is the fact that AI tools learn on the job. They're more widely available, and they've become easier to use.
As a recent public servant, I often reflect on what my role as a public servant meant. What was it that I did every day? And what I realized is, first and foremost, I was an information broker. My job was to think about that mission, think about that North Star that our agency was trying to achieve, and then really think about how I can take in and use the best information to inform my decisions. I'd take that information and I'd use it to decide what resources we apply where and how. And then most importantly, I would take in even more information to figure out if how we had applied those resources was as effective as possible to our mission. We're living in an unprecedented revolution around information, whether that's the technology, advances in the cloud, satellite coverage, and just simply the fact that more available data has challenged us as information brokers to keep up. And the reality is we can't, right? And this is where we need AI, we need ML, machine learning. We need that to be our information allies. But what's exciting about that is more data ultimately means more opportunities to be curious. And if you think about it, as an information broker, the most important thing you can exercise is curiosity. So think about AI as a curiosity engine. Ironically, the more heavy information, the more complex a program, the more data, the more AI can help.
We have actually developed a data call back in February of 2020, where we took a look at the different projects that we have across the agency and identified 200 projects that include artificial intelligence, whether it's machine learning or deep learning. The way that we are measuring success is identifying the different readiness levels of these projects, understanding what projects are still in the research area, as well as those that have further advanced in order for us to put them into operations. Of course, every project and every amount of work that we do goes through a high level of scrutiny, validation, and verification. And so we know that a successful project, of course, would reach that level of operations. But additionally, it's important for us to not just look at success by what goes into operations, but what we're learning throughout these projects.
Fundamentally, we don't really have to look any further than COVID to see how critical AI has been in helping our nation cope with this challenge. Everything from Doc AI, which allowed billions of forms to be processed and data to be ingested at really an unprecedented scale, to predictive modeling and what-if scenarios that helped government leaders be able to make better decisions to keep us safe, from virtual agents and chatbots that engage with millions of constituents to help them get their benefits 24/7. I think it's really safe to say that without AI, we would not have been able to address this challenge as effectively.
Within NOAA, we have developed the artificial intelligence strategy as well as strategic plan to guide us from 2021 out to 2025. Within our strategy and strategic plans, we have identified goals and objectives that will discuss how we will advance our AI tools, taking them from research to operations, as well as working with partners and also upskilling our workforce. By doing so, we are also identifying areas of governance that we'd like to provide as we collaborate across the line offices and identify these partnerships or expand upon current partnerships. And so that strategy will allow us to develop these metrics that will assist us in identifying the success that we have within NOAA using artificial intelligence.
One example of AI success comes from our Southwest Fisheries Science Center in our Antarctic Ecosystem Research Division. Since we are able to use AI and cloud capabilities together to collect and process high levels of imagery, this department is working to bring these large volumes of data collected from animal-borne video cameras to help us understand interactions between Antarctic krill and the predators that depend upon that krill. These cameras collect far too much data for scientists to analyze by hand, and thus we need to use these platforms to build models and analyze these images. By bringing all the data into the cloud, AI allows us to reduce processing time and easily run models on very large imagery data sets, thereby training these models in a matter of minutes to hours rather than hours to days. The platform also allows us scientists to simplify their processes by having all of the data and processing happening in one place. As a science organization regularly intaking large quantities of data, we are able to advance our mission of science, service, and stewardship by leveraging solutions similar to this to streamline and identify a variety of other fish and marine mammal species.
You know, today it's important to realize we're living in a completely different technological age than existed even 2 years ago. Whether it's cloud, satellite, compute, AI, devices, all of these things are fundamentally more advanced than they were. And what I love is seeing agencies like NOAA or State Department, or even, our state leaders, the state of Illinois, for example, really recognizing that leadership, recognizing that the data, is going to change, the policy environment are changing, but that the technology is changing. And they're building systems that allow them to learn and to adapt instead of only being rooted in how they do their business now. And what I love most of all is when I see the confidence that they get in trying a tool like AI or ML, machine learning, for the first time, and how it impacts their mission, because the next thing to say is how can I do this next? What information, what challenge can I apply this to next? Because they realize it just helps them get to their impact so much faster.
Artificial intelligence is being used across the agency for imagery detection, not only in fisheries, but also as we look to use it for our satellite data. Being able to overcome areas of sparse data is extremely important for us in order to utilize the data in our numerical weather prediction systems. And artificial intelligence is a tool that will allow us to do that, in addition to being able to process the data from these images much faster than we could if we were not using artificial intelligence as a tool.
One thing that I am just such a fan of NOAA and their leadership, is that what they've really done is turned AI into a curiosity engine, right? And what you want more than anything is for our public servants to be curious, to ask, how can a program be better? How can we work more effectively? We expect our public servants to be information stewards and resource stewards. So the idea that AI can foster curiosity and help public servants like NOAA leaders and others be more effective is key. Once an organization starts to understand the powers of emerging tools like AI and ML, they really start to do what NOAA did. And I kind of categorize that as like a living systems mentality, and that has domino effects across the organization. By being that kind of data-first organization, they're really accelerating their insights and the evolution around how they can achieve their mission in this modern age with the amazing technology and people and resources that we have to apply to it. And it's important to keep in mind too that, AI isn't a tool that's about working instantly. AI is a learning partner, right? It's a friend, it's a technology that in essence helps you learn more about your mission along the way. A key factor to keep in mind is that AI actually learns with you. So you're going to get great results, when you start to use it, but you're going to get even better results over time because it helps you understand your mission more. It brings information to the surface over time It learns with you. It hears the words that your constituent might be using in their language, maybe not in the language that a government agency uses, and it helps bring those things to life.
I also think it's truly exciting that government and public servants are moving away from bending technology to support an existing business process, but looking at technology as a way to enhance their business processes. And by enhancing those business processes, they're going to create better policies and better systems. And AI is really the engine that is driving this, I think, new approach. And NOAA, I think, is an excellent example of a forward-leaning organization and team who has adapted and drove the art of the possible in a federal organization. They actually explored and unleashed the best that AI could offer.
The power of AI and cloud technologies in government is reflected in their ability to allow government employees to harness data faster and more creatively to deliver better mission outcomes. As we heard from NOAA's IT leaders, Dr. Jamese and Nancy Majower, AI is not only leading to better science by analyzing structured and unstructured data in greater quantities, but it's also helping to craft better informed public policies that, in NOAA's case, can save lives and protect our oceans and natural resources.